Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Media Pulse. Now, today we're going to start the program with the most talked about story in Thai politics this week, and that is the criminal court ruling on Thaksin Shinawatra's lese-majeste charge. He appeared in court with his legal defense team amid a group of red shirt supporters who turned out with signs and chants to wish him well. And the verdict? Acquitted.
And of course, for Thaksin is another hurdle to his full political rehabilitation out of the way.
Yeah. Well, to help our international audience understand the context before we go into the details of the court ruling and its impact on Thai politics, let's talk about some background information of this case. So, what exactly is the Thai lese-majeste law, or Article 112 of the Criminal Code? It states that any person found guilty of defaming, insulting, or threatening the king, the queen, the heir apparent, or the regent shall be subject to a penalty of imprisonment from 3 to 15 years.
Friday's court ruling had to do with an interview that Thaksin gave to South Korean media back in 2015. That was 10 years ago. What was deemed to be most problematic was Thaksin's mentioning of the so-called the palace circle, his reference to a group of people that he believed were behind the plot to bring about his downfall. And don't forget that Thaksin's interview took place while he was in self-exile, and the country was under military after a coup d'etat that took place a year earlier. And the person who initiated the legal action against Thaksin was General Udomdet Sitabut. Back then, General Udomdet was probably one of the most powerful generals in the country. He was holding 3 positions concurrently. First as being the Deputy Defense Minister and Army Chief, and then, most importantly, the Secretary General of the National Council for Peace and Order, the official name of the military junta at that time.
So he was a busy man. Now let's move on to some of the main points of the ruling. One is on lese-majeste charge and another is on Computer Crime Act violation. So here's an excerpt from the press statement. I'm going to read it out. So, upon review, the court found that the defendant did not directly mention His Majesty King Rama IX in the interview, nor did he use royal terms or pronouns that clearly referred to the king. Instead, he used third-person pronouns such as he, which could refer to one or multiple individuals. The interview also included terms like Privy Council, military, palace circle, and people in the palace, so all of which were included in the broader context of his statements.
Therefore, in the view of the court, there is not enough proof beyond reasonable doubt that Thaksin was defaming the king. So the benefit of the doubt was given to the defendant, and the court decided to dismiss the charges against Thaksin. Also, the criminal court ruled that the video clip of the interview only used selected parts of Thaksin's statements from the full interview he gave in 2015.
Yeah, and regarding the charge of violations under the Computer Crime Act, the court ruled that since the defendant's statement could not be construed as insulting, defaming, or threatening the monarchy, there was no basis for this charge either, so it was dropped.
But today's acquittal is not the end of the case yet. By law, the prosecution still has the right to appeal. But according to Thaksin's lawyer, an appeal must be based on legal grounds and evidence. And he argued that in this case, the court's dismissal was seen as comprehensive in terms of factual findings. So he was simply saying that there is little ground for an appeal to be made.
Yeah, Thaksin immediately left the court after the ruling. He didn't give any media interviews, but his lawyer also said that Thaksin now looks forward to having time to fully contribute to the country. And by the way, let's not forget to mention that he is now free to leave the country without having to ask the court for permission. And outside the court, as I mentioned earlier, there were a group of red chair supporters who gathered to show support. They held up pictures of Thaksin and shouted, "Thaksin, fight on!" And we love Thaksin. And however, he didn't lower his window, citing safety reasons.
So despite all the scandals that he may have been involved in, we can say that he's still a very popular figure in Thai politics, judging from the number of the people who turned up every time he show up for rallies or events like what happened on Friday.
The fans
right?
and the cards that they
That's
held
right.
up.
Of course, Thaksin must have heaved a big sigh of relief with the acquittal on Friday, right? But unfortunately, that is not the end of his ordeal yet.
No.
He's facing another court case that will be decided on September the 9th.
Yeah.
On that day, the court will rule whether his 6-month stay at the police hospital after returning from self-exile in 2023 counts toward serving his prison sentence.
Yeah, as we all know, Thaksin didn't spend a single day behind bars despite his jail term passed on by the court. Now, he claimed serious illnesses and spent the entire time at the police hospital until he was discharged in early 2024 after being given the royal pardon. The worst case scenario for Thaksin is for him to go back to prison to serve 1 year jail term, or he may have to do so at alternative facilities, depends.
But before Thaksin's fate is decided on September the 9th, the political spotlight will shift, for the time being anyway, will shift from Thaksin to his daughter,
Exactly.
Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra.
Yeah.
On August 29th, this coming Friday, the Constitutional Court will rule whether Thaksin will stay on as Prime Minister or not. Of course, the ruling, whatever it will be, will have far-reaching impact on the future of Thai politics.
Yeah. Well, remember her birthday has passed, so maybe the star signs have changed. Thaksin has been accused of serious breaches of political ethics in connection with her telephone call with the Cambodian strongman Hun Sen. So that was amidst the escalating border conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia. And the charge against her was filed by a group of senators who considered the contents of her conversation with Hun Sen to be detrimental to the country's interest and violated political ethics.
On Thursday, Thaksin defied predictions by many people by showing up before the Constitutional Court to present her defense in person.
Yeah.
Right. Most political analysts earlier believed that she would skip the hearing, but somehow she did show up.
Yeah.
And Thaksin was subjected to questioning by the judges for as long as 90 minutes. Journalists were barred from the courtroom while Thaksin was being quizzed by the judges. But Thai PBS World has learned that Thaksin responded to questions by the judges very much along the line of the defense paper she had submitted earlier.
Now let's take a look at some of the main points Thaksin raised in her defense. So Thaksin's basic argument in the 80-page defense paper is that her conversation with Hun Sen was essentially designed to find ways to reduce tensions between the two countries, and nothing she said during the conversation can be interpreted as her attempts to make personal gains as accused.
In her defense, she blasted Hun Sen for breaching political protocol by leaking the taped conversation, which was supposed to be private. And she said she saw Hun Sen's intention as an attempt to create political instability and chaos in Thailand to pave the way for military operations against the country.
Throughout the phone conversation, Thaksin addressed Hun Sen as uncle, and her accusers interpreted as a display of subservience. She said she did so as a matter of propriety and not out of subservience to the Cambodian strongman as accused. And she said it's very common for her to address more senior people as uncle out of respect.
Now comes the most contentious part of her conversation with the Cambodian strongman Hun Sen. At one point, she said to the former Cambodian Prime Minister, tell me what you want and all can be arranged. Her accusers view this as a demonstration of her compliance with Hun Sen. But in her defense, Pat Tong Tan claimed that her remarks were designed to be part of her negotiating tactics to solicit her counterpart to make an offer so that she could bargain back.
Right. She described the technique as principled negotiations, quote. But what she did not mention was that the approach is a textbook method drawn from the famous book Getting to Yes, which focuses on interests, fairness, and win-win situation. She insisted while asking Hun Sen to make demands, she had no intention of responding to all of them, especially not before consulting with the Thai security agencies.
And now, the most controversial part of her conversation with Hun Sen. Out of the blue, she singled out General Bun Sin Phat Klang, commander of the 2nd Army Region, which oversees security in northeastern provinces bordering Cambodia. She described the general as our opponent and urged Hun Sen not to listen to this general. But by the way, as we all know, that General Bun Sin is now the country's most celebrated military general.
Yeah, he's popular all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, he is widely admired for his no-nonsense handling of the border situation.
Exactly.
And his often strong rhetoric toward Cambodia. So in fact, he is being seen as a hero in the eyes of many Thais.
Yeah, throughout history, he has served in that region for as long as we can remember and worked up the ranks. So obviously, a lot of people now view him as someone who is really dedicated.
And the fact that Pat Tong Tan was heard criticizing him, describing him as our opponent, definitely rankled many people.
Yeah, exactly. And this is Pat Tong Tan's explanation for referring to him as our opponent. So here's a quote. She said, I knew that Hun Sen was specifically unhappy with General Bun Sin, so I needed to adopt the technique of separating the people from the problem to demonstrate that the Thai government is determined to pursue peace. Now, she was referring to a conflict resolution technique, again, as suggested in the famous book Getting to Yes, but she didn't mention that.
And in her defense, Pat Tong Tan said she later met the regional army commander who publicly said he didn't feel offended by what she said about him to Hun Sen. And while not only defending herself, Pat Tong Tan also tried to turn the table on her accusers. She pointed her finger at the 36 senators who filed a petition with the Constitutional Court seeking her dismissal.
The young Prime Minister pointed out that many of these senators are currently under investigation by the Election Commission or the Department of Special Investigation for collusion in the Senate election in 2024 as well. She alleged that these senators could have been performing their duty under the influence of a certain political party which she did not name. She said she sees the petition that they filed against her as an exercise to serve their own political interest.
She ended her defense with an appeal to the court to rescind its order, suspending her from performing active duties as Prime Minister. Pat Tong Tan, as we all know, has been suspended from active duties since early July, pending a ruling by the court. And after the hearing, the Constitutional Court ordered Pat Tong Tan and her accusers to submit their closing statements by August 25th. And the court has scheduled August 29th as a day to issue its ruling. So everybody will be holding their breath when waiting for the ruling on that day.
So come next Friday, what's next, right? There are scenarios that people are talking about after the ruling. So she could be dismissed or not dismissed and go back to work. Speculation has been running wild over the possible outcome of the ruling. And there have also been rumors of lobbying with some of the judges.
No, in the worst case scenario for Pat Tong Tan, if the court rules against her, she will have to leave office along with her entire cabinet. And then the House of Representatives will need to elect a new Prime Minister. The ruling Pheu Thai party still has one prime ministerial candidate left, that is former Justice Minister Chai Kasem Niti Siri.
Yeah, but Pheu Thai will need to have the support of its current coalition partners to endorse Chai Kasem's candidacy, which is at this point is not a given, right? I mean, unlike 2 years ago, Pheu Thai party is now not in a position to impose its terms on its potential partners and will definitely be facing a lot of bargaining.
Now, another far-fetched scenario of former Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha making a comeback also refuses to go away.
Uncle Tu.
Uncle Tu. Prayut is now a member of the Privy Council, the personal advisory board of the king.
Yeah.
But Kun Prayut is also a prime ministerial candidate under the ticket of the United Thai Nation Party, a partner in the current Pheu Thai-led coalition government.
And the possibility of Anutin Chanvirakul, leader of the Phumjai Thai party, emerging as a dark horse for the top executive post has not been totally dismissed by political analysts as well.
Now, in short, if Pat Thong Tan has to leave office, Thai politics will once again be thrown into uncertainty.
Exactly. So who will become the next prime minister if she was dismissed? But if she's not dismissed, then it's back to business as usual for now.
But whatever happens, most political analysts believe that it would lead to a countdown to the next general elections.
Exactly.
Whether or not she can make it back to the PM's office or not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good weekend.